I'm on a path of coming back to YouTube after not being really active on it for quite some time. And this time, my intention was to create these videos from a place of absolute alignment. Alignment with myself, my own body, and my own nervous system. And I have to admit that I prematurely let my latest video out. I thought I was making the right decision, but in fact, I made that video from complete urgency and I rushed that video out when it wasn't fully ready yet. I was in a luteal phase of my cycle, okay? And it was time to lean into slower tempo of existence. But instead, I went to chase my own imaginary deadlines. So instead of surrendering, I started controlling and rushing because letting go of control felt scary. It felt like everything was going to fall apart when in reality, everything was going to fall into place, really. So at the end, by rushing it, I actually ended up slowing and sabotaging my own process. But it's okay, because I'm on a path of learning and I'm not ashamed to admit that I made a mistake. Because only when we are fully honest with ourselves, we are able and have a chance to start over and work on our mistakes. So, here is the full video. I gave it time and attention it deserved, and now I created it from a place of alignment with my body and where I am in my life right now. So, enjoy. Hola, good morning. So I came up here today because, firstly, my heart called me. Secondly, my heart called me. And thirdly, I wanted to test the floor. Laura, why would you be testing a freaking floor? Because I want to dance. I want to dance, and I have a problem. I don't have a dancing studio. I live on an island, right? You don't have a dancing studio where you can go, you can sign up, go to classes, and the job is done. You don't have a person who is leading people to dance. And so I don't have an option to sign up for a dancing studio, but I really want to dance because like it's calling me so much in my life. Here, there is no people. The floor is kind of soft. It's okay. And I have a lot of space. And I wanted to test if I can play music, if there is like internet connection signal. And there is. So I'm really happy that I found a place where I can come and dance. This is what I realized the other day when I looked at my post on Instagram. And on that post, I wrote that I see this island as a little golden cage because I'm always in my comfort zone and it doesn't allow me a lot of space to grow. But now I am on this island and I'm growing so much and I'm learning to expand myself in the structure and the boundaries of this island. You know, before I always looked at boundaries as something bad because of the authorities while I was growing up who would put unnecessary boundaries around me that just didn't make sense to me. So I got really rebellious and I started hating boundaries, any kind of boundaries. And now I'm in a place of life where I'm learning to create my own boundaries and my own structures that would in a way help me to dance through life more freely. And I'm learning to expand myself while I'm on this island. Like you can expand and you can grow wherever you are, no matter if you're traveling to the world and expanding in that sense, which I used to do, or you're just being located in one place and learning to expand through conversations with people or the skills that you are learning or just the things you're doing in your life there. So there is always room for expansion. There is always room for growth. Wherever you are, whatever the day, whatever the time, there is always room for expansion in whatever you're doing. Anyway, let's climb to the top. I'm talking so much. Jeez. Hola, good morning. It's me in the forest again. I'm attempting today to film this little creative artsy reels, movement reels that I love creating. So I'm right now here in this little forest, and I'm trying to find like a tree or a branch that looks good where I can attach myself and then perform. Wow, there's a huge bird. Perform some type of movement and create something that expresses my soul and the way that I see the world. So I'm here trying to find that, but I realize that it's always important to, on your way, on your path, in creation or in life in general, important to stay open for possibilities that may appear on the path, because you may have idea in your mind, like a general idea of where you want to go, what you want to film, what you want to create, but then on the path you find something that sparks something in you and that may be even more interesting than what you had in mind. And it's important that you look for those cues and be open to those ideas, because they may turn into something even better than you had in mind. So if I find something that inspires me a bit more than what I had in mind, I'll stay open for that. Let's go! So I found this tree, so I was thinking that maybe I could stand here and then be like a branch there, um, setting up the tripod. So we'll see how that looks. I'm gonna be full of ticks. Look how tiny they are. That's a tick. And I'm probably full of them. Hanging out in the tree. Hanging out in the tree. Yeah. I've been hanging out in this tree for probably an hour and a half. My legs are hurting because I'm making up the moves that are like up there in the tree, and I don't know, just having so much fun, but it's also really hard. There's my setup. Here's my foot. Blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, I am full of ticks. Small ticks, big ticks. I'm full of ticks. I'll try to film this one more time, and then we're probably heading back home. Guys, I'm tired. I'm tired and hungry. And I'm a Taurus, and I don't like being hungry. Since I'm all into the creative mode in the past couple of days or past couple of weeks, I thought I would talk a little bit about creativity. And what really stuck out to me was this comment that one of you wrote under one of my videos. By the way, you're far more creative than me, so I could never do what you were able to do. Let's talk a little bit about this. You are able to do whatever I am able to do. I'm not by any means special in some kind of way. Like, I am a normal person who chooses creativity. Every single day, I choose to be creative. I choose to create. Anything that I can do regarding creativity, you can do too. Because creative force is the life force. It lives within you. You were literally born creative. Like, you are not separated from the creativity itself. You were literally born creative because the creative force is the life force. The creative force that created everything that exists lives within you. You were born creative. The problem happened going through life. The problem happened growing up. The problem happened somewhere in your life journey when other people started blocking you in a way, blocking your creativity. Now, how does this happen? Some time ago, I wrote a poem and then I made an illustration. The poem goes like this. I recently realized I can write, express myself with words, the same as I can paint. express myself with colors. And I didn't know how and where it came from until I realized it was never there, but always here, patiently waiting for me to unlock new doors, to realize soul is the source of all creation, and it flows through doors you open for it. And here is the illustration. What I meant by that is that the creative force wants to express, it wants to come out of you, the creativity, your ability to create stuff in life, whatever you want to create, whatever you want to do, it wants to come out of you. But you developed the blocks. The blocks can be developed in a form of, let's say, people pleasing. If you're constantly trying to please other people, like adapting to every single person that you find on the way, you're neglecting yourself. You have a mask for every single person out there. And creativity requires you to be yourself, to do things for you, to create stuff. Other people can be motivators to create stuff, definitely. If you want to cook for someone, that can motivate you to create a lunch. But creativity is the best when you're not trying to please other person, but you create out of your own joy of creating things. And that can happen only when you remove those blocks. Or for example, if you were growing up and you were a kid who used to cry a lot, like I used to cry a lot. That's just my own nature. I'm very sensitive, very emotional. If people growing up told you that you're like a crybaby, that it's not okay to cry, or if people wanted to shut down your emotions for a certain reason, which adults often do, you start suppressing your emotions. You stop expressing your emotions out. You stop shedding the tears, which literally blocks the creativity because we need our emotions to create. If people shamed you during your life, for example, you could be ashamed for your sexual energy. That's what used to happen to me because I live on this island where there is huge influence of Catholic Church, and people always used to throw a body shame on me, like cover up or don't wear these things. That blocked my creativity a lot. Shame blocks the creativity a lot. Like I became ashamed of how I express myself, how I stand in my body, what I wear. And when people start blocking like those simple things, like when people start telling you what you should wear, you're no longer expressing yourself in that sense, and your creativity gets dimmed and dimmed and dimmed and dimmed even more. Or if you have, for example, this fear of judgment, if people judged you when you were a kid, for any type of reason, for example, I don't know, if you were wearing some kind of clothes and they would judge you for that, you develop this fear of judgment that you will be disliked by the community that you are in, which is a natural response because we want to belong, because we are humans and we are meant to be in groups. So this is like really deep inside you. But it doesn't serve us a lot today. It doesn't serve us to be afraid if we will be judged if we do something that our heart is telling us to do. You cannot create if you're constantly thinking about what will other people think about your creation. Like when you are in the creative state, when you are creating an art piece, you have to be there with yourself. Like you cannot think about the judgment of other people because the work will not develop in its fullest, truest form. I'm not saying that we have to be clear of the blocks while we are creating, but what helped me is like, in a way, becoming aware of the things that lay within you. If you're afraid of what other people will think, be aware of that, but create in spite of that. We have to unlock the doors. We have to go through these blocks. And what helped me a lot is there is a person I follow online. It's Jamie C. And she said that you don't need to imagine these blocks as these huge walls that is really hard to overcome. You can literally imagine them in your head as a cardboard pieces that are like really easy to pop, like plop. You just pop them. And I'm starting to realize it's really about that. You have to go step by step, like little by little. You don't need to go so into overcoming something that it at the end overflows your nervous system and you become so afraid, you become so freezed and even more blocked than at the beginning. Because I used to be so hard on myself that I would go into this huge like overcomes of the blocks, but really it is about overcoming these blocks in tiny steps every single day, like little by little, becoming aware of the blocks, becoming aware of what are the things that live inside you, what are you afraid of, are you ashamed of yourself, where does it come from, like really diving a little bit into your past and seeing where these blocks developed, when these blocks developed, and realizing that it's not your fault. It's literally not your fault. And then when you become aware of that, you can start moving in direction of overcoming those blocks. And it takes some time, it takes repetition, it takes practice. It's not easy for me neither to create every single day, because I sit in front of this camera sometimes, I wonder what other people will think. Will people judge me when I create my art? Sometimes it's really hard to create the move, it's really hard to get into the sauce of creating art, because there is always some kind of voice of my parents or of people who know me or people who are gonna think something about this. But your creativity is for you. It's for you to express yourself. And this is the only thing that matters. When you create for yourself. You don't create for other people, you create for yourself. And you are absolutely creative. You can do whatever you want to do. You can create whatever you want to create. You just gotta start. You just gotta have the will. But you are absolutely creative. Speaking about that, some time ago I created these little art prints, because when I was a kid I always had a dream that I will one day have my little art shop and I will sell my art prints. And in fact, I actually opened my Instagram account 10 years ago, 2016, with the idea of becoming a painter, an artist, and selling my art. On the journey I started sharing my life, different things, like art called me in different directions through creating this photography, self-portraits, then it came in form of poetry, then videos came into the play, now dancing is coming into the play. So I'm just like one creative person who does a lot of creative things. I'm not a master in anything, like, how do they say, jack of all trades, master of none? That's kind of me. But I wanted to still fulfill her little dream, my younger self's dream, and create art prints. And they look like this. This one I called Self-Love. This one I called Energy. Whoopsa. And this one I called Rebirth. For me, in my mind, it's always like this unity of people and nature and universe. My mind is very, very deep. You can purchase those art prints by sending me a message on Instagram. In my highlights, you can find all the information that you need. I think I'm gonna be selling them until they are sold out. So grab your pieces if you want to support me, if you want this for yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.